My dear sisters and brothers in Christ, the Gospel passage we have just heard, the Beatitudes, stands at the very heart of Jesus' teaching. The scene is deeply symbolic. Just as Moses went up on Mount Sinai to receive the law, Jesus now goes up the mountain to give a new law, not written on stone, but spoken to the heart. The Beatitudes are a revelation of the kingdom of heaven and a portrait of the kind of life that is truly blessed in God's eyes. What is striking is that Jesus speaks these words to ordinary people who are struggling, poor, mourning, and longing for something more. Each beatitude begins with the word blessed. In biblical language, this does not mean a superficial happiness or emotional satisfaction. It points to a deeper joy that comes from being in a right relationship with God. The world often says, "Blessed are the strong, the rich, the admired." Jesus says, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, the meek, the merciful, the peacemakers." The poor in spirit are not simply those who lack material goods, but those who know their need for God. They do not rely only on themselves. They live with open hands. To them, Jesus promises the kingdom of heaven, not as a future reward only, but as a present reality already breaking into their lives. The Beatitudes also reveal the inner life of Jesus himself. He is the poor one who trusts the Father completely, the meek one who does not break the bruised reed, the merciful one who forgives sinners, the peacemaker who gives his life on the cross. In this sense, the Beatitudes are a description of the life of Christ. Saint Augustine beautifully expressed this when he wrote, "The Beatitudes are the steps by which we ascend to heaven. They show us not only what Jesus teaches, but how he lives. To follow the Beatitudes is to be drawn into the very way of life of Christ." From a pastoral perspective, the Beatitudes speak directly to the realities of our lives today. Blessed are those who mourn. Jesus does not deny suffering or minimize pain. He looks directly at it and says that it has a place in God's plan. Mourning includes grief for loved ones, but also sorrow over injustice, broken relationships, and personal failure. Jesus promises comfort, not always the removal of pain, but the assurance that suffering is not meaningless. God is close to those who suffer, and their tears are seen. "Blessed are the merciful, and blessed are the peacemakers," challenge us in a very concrete way. Mercy is not weakness. It is strength shaped by love. It means choosing forgiveness over resentment, understanding over judgment. Peacemakers are not passive. They actively build bridges, heal divisions, and refuse to let hatred have the final word. The final Beatitudes speak of persecution and rejection. Jesus is realistic. He does not promise an easy life. To live according to the values of the kingdom may lead to misunderstanding or opposition. Yet, even here, Jesus speaks of joy and reward, because those who remain faithful even in difficulty are deeply united with Him. The kingdom of heaven belongs to them. In conclusion, the Beatitudes invites us to a new way of seeing life. They ask us to trust that God's logic is different from the world's logic. They call us to shape our lives not around success or comfort, but around humility, mercy, justice, and peace. When we take even small steps in this direction, the kingdom of heaven becomes visible among us. May this gospel encourage us to live the Beatitudes not as an impossible ideal, as a path of grace, trusting that God walks with us and blesses us along the way.